Welcome back, Wolfpack. Verlis here, and I can already say that this battle is GG from just looking at the team. We have the Pachirisu Drifblim setup. So follow me, Pachirisu tanks everything, and then Drifblim doesn't die because of it. So seems like a pretty good combo. Also, I like the Pachirisu with that follow me next to the Drifblim because it means that any electric attacks won't have effect because of the Pachirisu. So that works out just wonderfully. And let's go and watch it all play out. So Tapu Koko sets that electric surge, and now there's also a Kartana on the field, but Drifblim is going to get that minimized, and we're going to watch it happen. So there's Follow Me with the Pachirisu. Center of attention, Tapu Koko goes for the Volt Switch, can't even switch out because of the Volt Absorb, and then Smart Strike will not be able to do much. The Pachirisu resisted hit right there, so yeah. I'm down with all of this, and then Drifblim goes for the minimize, and Pachirisu is free to go for another follow me for a couple of turns at this rate, so the opponent has to switch out the Tapu Koko, goes into the Gastrodon, and even then Gastrodon isn't going to help the opponent much, if at all, so that's going to be a follow me, making sure that Smart Strike not going to be able to hit the Drifblim, but this time going for the Leaf Blade, strong damage onto Pachirisu, but the Will-O-Wisp, ooh, little bit of tech from the Drifblim right there. So now that's not even going to be enough damage on the Leaf Blade. I'm wondering if this is a Confusion Berry on the Pachirisu to kind of like go for the Citrus Berry Plus. So Pachirisu actually protecting this turn. You know, why go for Follow Me when Protect is also going to happen? Leaf Blade gets protected to try to deal with that threat, and then Drifblim goes for another Minimize right there. So I wonder what Drifblim's item is to try to get that Unburden boost, or if it's something else. Drifblim avoids Toxic, and Toxic doesn't matter. This is why I'm wondering why the opponent is bringing the Gastrodon in. That, yeah, okay, Drifblim eventually just pieces out in the Baton Pass, and Toxic doesn't matter. So Leaf Blade, Pachirisu survives because of the Will-O-Wisp, and then we get to see a Confusion Berry. So that's going to be insane boosting back into the Pachirisu. Now Super Fangs for some free damage onto Gastrodon, reducing its tankiness quite a bit, and Drifblim going for these stockpiles right now. I like it. Like, the Will-O-Wisp tech does work out pretty well for those physical threats that try to get in the way of the setup. Drifblim now has enough minimizes to where attacks will be avoided pretty easily, and it's looking good. I'm liking this right now. And that's the thing, like, when the opponent sees a minimized Pokemon, sometimes they just have zero idea how to respond, and they completely fall apart. I think we're watching this right now, and we're not even at the best part. Like, this is still a setup. We get to see what the Baton Pass does, and then how to further benefit from it. So Drifblim going to get very, very greedy, very just statted up. I don't know, I ran out of berries after that. But Toxic finally lands, and again, doesn't really matter. If Drifblim has like a Citrus Berry for that Unburden plus Sustain, it's going to heal up eventually, and yeah, looks like we're not going to be able to see too much else damage come in. So Drifblim hurt by the poison, Kartana hurts by the burn, takes some of that burn damage, and electricity disappears. So that's how long this battle's been going on right now. And because of Volt Absorb, it seems like the Tapu Koko doesn't want to come in. But Razor Leaf tech from the Kartana. Now I actually considered this. When I saw Kartana, I'm like, oh, Razor Leaf hits both opponents in doubles. That might be good with its high offenses, but still doesn't really matter after the stockpile boosting, after the burn. Not going to be able to do too much right here. And Gastrodon has Fissure. Pachirisu avoids the Fissure though, and the opponent just cannot stop the Pachirisu. Combo too strong. And like, the thing is, this is supposed to be about like the minimize and then getting the stats and Baton passing into ARBOK, and then making ARBOK an absolute monster, because that's what the submission said. But at this rate, with the Drifblim setup, like, this Pachirisu Drifblim combo is doing more than enough work. So Arcanine's Intimidate actually kind of sucks for the Baton Pass setup, but we're going to see where we get from here. Pachirisu has the Follow Me, just going to absorb those last couple of hits, and Drifblim gets another stockpile. Okay then. And now Gastrodon has Recover. So after taking those Super Fangs, doesn't want to get cheesed out by a hit, goes for the Recover, heals up. That's just another free turn for the Drifblim overall with all that switching. And then the Recover, or the leftovers for that little bit of extra recovery. Gastrodon near full hit points. Poison damage is adding up, but again, Drifblim can still peace out whenever he wants to. So it's looking pretty good. And Arcanine has the Bulldoze. So just wants to hit Pachirisu for something. Super effective damage, not going to be enough after the split. Drifblim's a flying type, and then Gastrodon takes a small amount of damage. Pachirisu's speed doesn't matter either, and that's going to be a Nuzzle. for the paralysis. So we have Will-O-Wisp and Nuzzle status for the setup, and then Drifblim finally Baton Passes. So let's go and see how fast we can close out this battle with the unkillable ARBOK. Let the stats go crazy. Also, ARBOK has Intimidate. Nice. So that's going to work against the Arcanine just a little bit if it is like Flare Blitz or something. Pachirisu avoids the attack. And honestly, Gastrodon has like the best chance of taking out ARBOK because evasion boosting doesn't affect Fissure and one-hit KO moves. So Pachirisu is going to protect this turn. And we're going to see if ARBOK can identify that threat and try to deal with it as fast as possible. Extreme speed from the Arcanine, not going to work, and ARBOK has the coil, so goes for defenses, also gaining those offenses, trying to get to neutral to deal with the Gastrodon. So yeah, like, ooh, accuracy boost as well could help out for Gunk Shot in the future. But there we go. So Pachirisu now with the follow me, just gonna be like, alright, everyone on the Pachirisu, let's get ARBOK a couple more stats. Arcanine gets fully paralyzed this turn as well. ARBOK gets the coil, and then watch this be the Fissure that lands, and then ARBOK still is free to do stuff with damage behind it. So the Pachirisu, this is like the longest Pachirisu has ever been alive, and still gets the miss on that Fissure from the Gastrodon. So the Fissure tech not working out for the opponent. The opponent just does not know what to do against this right now. And Pachirisu going to follow me once again. Center of attention, Arcanine with the extreme speed. So extreme speed hits the Pachirisu. Pachirisu does go down. And ARBOK gets the coil. So now at +2 attack, so it has a good amount of damage. Bring in another Pokemon and try to like double down onto the Gastrodon, because Gastrodon is the biggest threat and goes for the Scald. ARBOK avoids it with all that evasion boosting. Was that his 5th Fissure and he didn't land any? Because he decided to like switch over off the Fissure now. And Rampardos comes in. Okay, Rampardos can contribute in some kind of way with the Zen Headbutt. So Zen Headbutt damage onto the Gastrodon, maybe looking for a flinch, but still pretty massive hit right there. And then Gunk Shot from ARBOK. That's actually going to target the Gastrodon as well with the not very effective hit. Not enough to take it down. And Arcanine has Flare Blitz, but ARBOK avoids the Flare Blitz. It also has like an insane amount of defense boosting. So I don't think it matters. And then Rampardos takes insane damage off of the Scald. But once Gastrodon's gone, then the battle is pretty much over anyways. So yeah, just a lot longer battle than I expected, and Pachirisu just like, nope, refusing to go down. And Drifblim's still fairly useful. So if it is a Citrus Berry or something for that Unburden boost, has that opportunity to outspeed and then go for some burn, maybe just minimize to annoy the opponent a bit. So there's something right there. Oh man, Kartana comes in for that Gunk Shot, will be immune. But I still don't think that really changes too much. ARBOK has to have more up its sleeve for the damage, and then Drifblim avoids the Flare Blitz because of the shenanigans from that minimize. Even then, if like Arcanine connects to Flare Blitz, he's just going to be hurting himself. So we're going to see ARBOK's damage or its options against this Kartana. Smart Strike does land, but it's plus Insanity on the defense, and it has the Fire Fang for the Steel-type Pokemon. So Fire Fang just one-shot wrecks the Kartana. I was about to say, it doesn't even matter because he's already missing some health, but Drifblim goes for another minimize. Just has to be there for the stalling aspect, and Flare Blitz, Drifblim misses. Or avoiding on the Drifblim. It's so done right now. It is just so done. It's like Tapu Koko might be able to come in, get some cheese damage onto the Drifblim. There it is. Is that going to be the Citrus Berry from the healing? Drifblim dropping below half, getting that. Now has Unburden. It's actually faster than Tapu Koko. And Gastrodon comes in, so that's just free damage onto the Gastrodon as well. Arcanine goes for the Protect. I don't think that really matters too much. Drifblim Will-O-Wisp, that's actually going to target the Gastrodon. And ARBOK Gunk Shots. Yep, Gunk Shot was headed for the Gastrodon because, again, if it was like more on that Fissure, Fissure is the most threatening thing onto this ARBOK right now. So Arcanine just kind of protecting and watching his friends die right there. Then we're going to go into the Tapu Koko, where the battle should end pretty well. I don't really have much else to contribute to the conversation at this point. So that's going to be Tapu Koko. Electric Surge on the field. Even if Tapu Koko connects, still not going to be an insane amount of damage. ARBOK has a lot of that bulk behind it with its boosting from stockpiles. ARBOK avoids the extreme speed. Drifblim Will-O-Wisp onto Tapu Koko. Hey, if there's like a Focus Sash or something, that's not going to matter. Just in case. Never know. and Tapu Koko with the Thunderbolt. Thunderbolt does find its way onto the ARBOK, but ARBOK survives. There's a paralysis, and even if ARBOK gets fully paralyzed, wouldn't be too much of a problem. But the Gunk Shot, that's going to head on to the Arcanine, and Arcanine gets one shot from the Gunk Shot. And, like, that's just the filthy thing about the Drifblim. Like, a Pokemon with stockpiles is hard enough to kill. A Pokemon with defense boosting is hard enough to kill. Pokemon with minimize is hard enough to kill. But both of them together. So you have to get, like, to the insane odds of landing a hit. And then when you do, you have to do that a couple more times. And then it's still maybe not enough. So Drifblim going to spam minimize just to make sure if ARBOK goes down to, like, a crit or something ridiculous, ARBOK avoids anyways, and ARBOK has the stockpile. Just gonna get a little bit of extra special defense, kind of stall out this Tapu Koko right here. Because how crazy would it be if, like, Tapu Koko misses enough moves in the end to where Drifblim's minimize makes to where Tapu Koko goes down to burn? Not likely though because of Toxic, so never mind. Drifblim dies of Toxic. But those are like some of the situations as to why you might as well just go for minimize anyways. And Tapu Koko gets burned. So it's the one-on-one ARBOK versus Tapu Koko. And when you look at the rest of the team, like, all the stats are in ARBOK. All the setup is for ARBOK. So it's not like the rest of the team was bad. ARBOK, no paralysis right now, gets the Gunk Shot. And then that is going to be Tapu Koko getting absolutely destroyed. That's just the benefit of the coil. Increases that accuracy, makes to where the Gunk Shot lands. More damage on top of more damage, on top of high base power, on top of stab. And that is going to be the battle over. So let's go into one more battle, see how clean that setup can continually be. I don't really think we need more introductions for this battle, so let's get right into it, and that's going to be Gastrodon Rotom. What's with all the Gastrodons? Like, it works for tech, I guess, but against this team, not really going to be able to do too much. And Pachirisu with that Follow Me. Maybe Trick, maybe Overheat. Rotom with the Discharge, though. Pachirisu has the Volt Absorb, not really going to matter right there. Doesn't affect Gastrodon, but the Discharge connects onto Drifblim after split damage, and that is a big hit. So Citrus Berry is going to come through. That's going to give us a little bit extra right now. And Drifblim's actually still pretty safe. So that's going to be minimized. Now it can outspeed into a stockpile, try to rely on the miss, or double down on those minimizes. And then we're going to see what Pachirisu goes for. But with that Bulldoze only really going to target the Pachirisu. So a lot of levitates and ineffective moves right now, which is pretty interesting. And Pachirisu is going to lose speed, but doesn't matter because of the priority on the Follow Me. Drifblim outspeeding, taking the gamble on the minimize. I like it. And we're going to see what else we can get. Rotom with the Will-O-Wisp, though. So Will-O-Wisp being the Pachirisu. And I'm guessing Pachirisu is going to go for some kind of Super Fang. And the Pokemon target is going to be the Gastrodon. Interesting choice. I feel like the Rotom might have been better because Rotom doesn't have Sustain. And it is a bulky Pokemon, so making it live with that with that Super Fang would be a lot rougher because Gastrodon could just recover whenever it wants to, so that's just my thought on it. But if Gastrodon doesn't go for the recover and then gets picked off or takes some free damage, then the play does work out. So a lot of interesting things. Pachirisu taking a little bit from the burn, and with the damage the opponent is putting down, it looks like we should be safe to just kind of have Pachirisu get the Confusion Berry, which works out. Drifblim now taking that stockpile, and Hex from the Rotom. So Rotom just giving up on the Drifblim. Hex on the Pachirisu. Pachirisu barely surviving. Okay, that was pretty crazy and unexpected. And then that's going to be the burn. I guess he can't discharge. Like, when we see Hex, Will-O-Wisp, Discharge, Protect. So if he goes for the Discharge, he's healing damage onto the Pachirisu, which isn't good. Even if that means damaging the Drifblim. Too scared to see the opponents. Opponents just don't know what to do when they see the Drifblim. They fall apart. You'd imagine after making this many videos with like 1 million views on minimized Drifblim, probably on my channel or something silly like that. You know, if I took all the videos that had minimized Drifblim in it, that's probably like around 1 million views, if not 500,000, you know? You'd expect people to learn about how this Pokemon works out. Gastrodon, though, has the Muddy Water, and it looks like that should take down Pachirisu. And it does connect on Drifblim, even with the reduced accuracy, but after the stockpiles, not going to be enough to matter. And no accuracy drop, so that will not be Baton Pass, as Mean Xiao comes in. And Pachirisu, like, just stays alive so much longer than you'd expect. So, Fake Out onto the Rotom, going to cut down that damage right there, as we see Life Orb from Mean Xiao. Drifblim with the Minimize. That's bold, but it looks like Gastrodon doesn't have a way of one-hit KOing right there. Rotom flinches, Gastrodon with the Ice Beam. So now switching back over to the Drifblim. Good hit, not enough. And this is where Drifblim just takes that Baton Pass. So now we have damage supporting that Mean Xiao. or like damage support in that Mean Shout. ARBOK comes in. ARBOK can coil. Doesn't have to worry about the Intimidate, so it is going to be more damage out of the gate. Intimidate, not really going to bother Rotom or Gastron, though. And there's a knockoff. Man, that's some insane damage. Knocks off the leftovers. Hits pretty hard. That's a Life Orb for you. ARBOK avoids the Will-O-Wisp and Gastrodon. ARBOK avoids the Muddy Waters. So, double avoid. ARBOK does not have to worry right now. And that's going to be Mean Shout taking damage, but not enough, and the accuracy will drop. I'm wondering what ARBOK's last move is. We saw Stockpile, Gunk Shot, Coil, and then Fire Fang. So actually, we saw it all. I'd actually get rid of... It depends on what... Oh, wait, never mind. ARBOK has Z Stockpile. Like, all of my money is on ARBOK for the Z Stockpile. Because I was about to say, maybe we should have Rest to preserve those stats. But Z Stockpile, even tankier, full heal on demand, on top of all those insane stats. So, that's my guess on the ARBOK. Would make a lot of sense, and would make it pretty tough to take down. So, Coil, Z Stockpile, ARBOK with Poison and Fire Fang could work. Or not Poison Fang, but you know, Gunk Shot and Fire Fang could actually be pretty powerful. Knock off onto the Muck. Let's just get that Black Sludge out of the way early. And Mean Shout still putting down damage. ARBOK with the Coil, so +2 on the attack. Still going to be big damage onto the Muck. Muck without that reliable forms of sustain. Gastron, we know that Pokemon takes damage, and Muck has the Curse. So defense gaining as well for the Muck, but then ARBOK also gaining defenses as well. Mean Shout needs to, like, get some big damage. Gastron will go for the Muddy Water. ARBOK avoids, and that's going to take down Mean Shout, though. So, once again, just kind of into a longer than expected battle, but... Actually, not. It's not longer than expected with the Minimize. That last one was kind of ridiculous, though, just with the Pachirisu staying alive for so long. But ARBOK's going to set up to infinity and beyond and try to take out what it can. Fire Fang onto Muck. You're just going to get more damage on the Gunk Shot, though. Even the resisted hit, Stab Gunk Shot is more damage. So, Ice Beam, that's going to hit Drifblim. Drifblim without the evasion. Drifblim does go down right now. And that's going to be that. But, Muck has the Assurance. ARBOK avoids it. And the burn, like Drifblim coming in for just the burn. That's definitely worth it right there. Because Muck, taking damage over time, reduces the amount of damage from the Curse as well. And we're going to see what is done right here. So, ARBOK with the Stockpile. Extra tankiness, because why not? I'd just go for like a bajillion coils and then one-shot everything, but this works out as well. And then Gastrodon with the Bulldoze. So Muck's protecting for the Bulldoze. ARBOK doesn't care, avoids the attack, wouldn't even care about having reduced speed as well. And that's going to be even more right there. So ARBOK has... I don't know if this is BM or what. Like, is this bad manners, or are we... just for the stall or just like win condition secure? Because, well, I would go... I meant to say win condition secure, not secure. But, yeah, like, I would just go for the coils and then try to do as much damage as possible. But looks like Muck might even die eventually to the burn, because knockoff plus the Will-O-Wisp too strong. That's going to be a coil from the ARBOK. And with all those curse boosting, though, it's going to be hard to do, like, any damage to the Muck, so I guess that happens. And Gastron with the Bulldoze. Muck avoids the attack, and then Bulldoze ends up hitting, or not Muck, ARBOK avoids. Bulldoze hits Muck for a slight amount of damage. Actually going to reduce Muck's speed, and then Muck has the Assurance. So, something finally lands, and it does very little damage. Oh, ARBOK has leftovers. Never mind, it's not a Z move. I would have expected, like, the Normalium Z stockpile to be better than the leftovers by far as well. Like, it seems like ARBOK needs just that last little bit of big sustain, just in case something goes wrong. Maybe a rest, but stockpile works. And then ARBOK going to get +4 on those coils. So now we're going to convert into the one-hit KO shenanigans. So yeah, we see it again as well in this battle, that the whole team doesn't really do much. We have our one random damage support Pokemon, like the Mean Shower, the Rampardos. The other two, they just kind of give their life to ARBOK to make it insanely powerful. And that just turns out, hey, ARBOK sweep. So the opponent just has to feel bad as they get swept by an ARBOK. That's going to be the Gunk Shot. Gunk Shot onto Muck will be enough to finish it from this range after all of that stat boosting. Gastron will be a pretty easy Pokemon takeout as well. There's an Ice Beam. ARBOK avoids. And leftovers. Healing ARBOK back to full question mark? Yes, it will. Okay, then. Oh, that's bad. Oh, that's That's going to be the most overkill to ever overkill right there. And also setting the grassy terrain, just kind of helping ARBOK for the sustain just in case. ARBOK has Fire Fang though, so just Fire Fang onto Tapu Bulu. It doesn't deserve the 4x super effective hit from a stronger stab move. Just kind of flexing on that Fire Fang. Ice Beam from the Gastrodon does connect, and the damage is negligible. Yeah, look at that. We have the healing from the terrain, and then we have the healing from leftovers, and that's going to be ARBOK back up to full health already. So, completely ignored right there. Completely ignored from the Ice Beam. And ARBOK with the stockpile. We kind of see a trend right here, don't we? We see a little bit of a trend. Just kind of setting up in front of the opponent like, come on, man. Gotta forfeit. It's completely done at this point. Then ARBOK getting even more stats on the coil. It looks like ARBOK wants max special defense, max attack, max evasion, max to the max. And eventually we're going to see a gunk shot. No, ARBOK coiling again. Oh, that's so mean. That's so mean. Bulldoze will avoid once again. And does ARBOK go for the damage? There it is. That is forcing the opponent into the forfeit. GG right there. And yeah, I like the team. So it is Pachirisu into Craziness from the Drifblim. And then really, you could replace ARBOK with any Pokemon that has some slight form of setup and sustain, and then that's kind of it. But yeah, the power of Drifblim next to a Follow Me Pokemon, Pachirisu is a good choice, and then everything else just kind of works. I like Fake Out as a follow-up from the Mean Xiao, good amounts of damage for securing KOs, and the whole team just kind of works. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll see you guys for the last Fan Fridays coming up next.